Hello, welcome everyone to the Distraction here on a Saturday. I am Jeremy Lambert, joined as always by the very tired Joseph Hulbert. Joe, how you doing, buddy?
I'm so many things right now, Jeremy. I'm excited, I'm cautious, I'm a little bit scared because I'm staring at like 12 different versions of my own face. But that's just the way it is today, okay? And I'm ready. I'm ready. You see this? This is preparation, folks. I take this stuff seriously. So this is probably the biggest day in the history of the distraction, right, Jeremy? Other than all the other big days, this is a big one.
You just have a blank piece of paper, is what it looks
Well, I
like.
don't want
Cause
to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil
okay.
my. By the way, you'll notice there's no branding on these glasses today, folks. I'm not going to give any visual cues as to good picks that Jeremy can take. So we're all business today, okay? All business.
We are here as announced on Thursday's show. We are bringing back the TEW series. We were gonna do TEW 2020, and then we looked at the demo and played it for. I think I played it for probably an hour, and that was just messing around with the editor. And then I finally like booked a show, and I didn't hate it as much as everyone else. A lot of people don't like it, and I don't know if it'll like even translate that well on screen because the numbers are so tiny and it hurts your eyes so much that I just don't know how well it's gonna work.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, especially for us too. We actually intend to like edit this database somewhat to do some of the things we have planned, and that makes it even scarier, right? So we're not sure about that element of it, but we are proceeding as planned, just with some maybe differences as to the game we actually used to do this on, right?
Yeah, we might just use the TEW 2016 since that's the consensus good game right now, and
Yeah.
4 years later, unfortunately, has made it worse. This is what's going to happen to 2K. They're going to take 4 years off and come back with somehow an even worse game than 2K20.
I mean, it does feel like we have some unfinished business though with TEW
That's true.
2016, right? We need to settle the score there. So maybe it's for the best in maybe this is the whole point of all of this. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's about us. We talk about layers a lot on here, and maybe that's the point of this. But as I say, like, I'm not here to talk about this. I'm not here to talk about technical difficulties or any of that, Jeremy. I'm here to stare at myself. I'm here to thumb through my blank sheets of paper, and I'm ready. This microphone today is a tool, and it's going to teach you guys how to do experiments like this.
We're here. So here's the universe that we are creating. It is modern day universe, Raw and SmackDown. Joseph being a loyal, devout Blue Brand follower on the Friday night on Fox will be taking control of SmackDown. I will be taking control of Raw. We're only doing 2 hour shows. I'm not booking 3 hours. I think Joe was trying to give me Raw in hopes that I would have to do 3 hours. That's not happening. I will bump SmackDown to 3 hours uh, before I have to book 3 hours on my own.
I'm way ahead of you. SmackDown's now only a half an hour show. I don't know if I told you that, Jeremy, but that's the announcement to start with. No, I knew that, Jeremy. You know my loyalty to Blue. We've all discussed it, right? I just love SmackDown.
I mean, I see you tweeting about it every Friday night on Fox. You're ready for a good time every single Friday, tweeting about SmackDown. You'll
And
be
how good
taking
was that Triple H celebration last night, huh? How good was it?
it's going to continue on Raw. It's going to continue on NXT. We're going to get multiple. It might be multiple weeks of Triple H for all we know.
Maybe
You
multiple
can't sell.
years.
You can't sell Triple H short. All right.
I'm with you.
We'll be drafting our rosters. As I said, it will be modern day. We're going to reset the rosters. It's a complete teardown as well. We're not drafting tag teams together. If you want a tag team, you have to use two picks on them. It's going to make for, could make for some odd teams here and there as we try to reset those divisions. We are using the NXT roster as part of all of this, so everybody from NXT is available to be drafted. It's a 40-person roster. That is, we're gonna keep the rosters throughout the game between 40 and 45, depending on once we get started booking, we might need some extra people and things like that. We have everything laid out as far as call ups, send downs, things like that. We are doing what'd you call it yesterday or sorry Thursday, Joe? What's the trademark we're filing?
I initially said picks from the past, but I now think we should do the picks beyond because that doesn't
Okay.
really mean anything, but nor did it with more games, so it works for me, right?
All right, so picks beyond, we each have 5 picks in that category. You have to take at least one singles, one female, and one tag team with those 5 picks. And it could be anybody. It could be a current day, so you can take current day Okada, current day Omega, or you can take 1998 Steve Austin. Like it can be anyone from any era. If you are taking a current day person who's still active, you have to take that version. So if you want Chris Jericho, you get current day Chris Jericho. You don't get 1996 Chris Jericho or 2001 Chris Jericho.
Yes.
So those are the
And that is the only area of the game where you can take an actual team too, right? So
right.
that's a big deal. Very
Yes.
exciting, Jeremy.
Yeah, you've got that's a big pick. That's the
Yes.
money ball in the 3 point contest. You got to nail that tag team pick because your tag team roster could be looking bleak depending on how this initial draft plays out.
It could. I mean, this is very, very scary time because now I've kind of built myself up, and I realise as I stare at 4 versions of myself that this could go very badly for me, Jeremy. I know you're playing it coy, and I respect that, but you seem prepared. That Moneyball comment, I respect it.
I've done no research on this. I'm just gonna look. Everyone's got a game plan until they get hit in the face, Joe.
True.
And I plan on hitting you in the face multiple times during this draft.
That's what the front office tells me. They told me I should expect a hit in the face, so we'll see when that comes in this 24-hour recording we're about to do.
I do have a draft board and very fancy graphics that we created for this, and Joe will be able to see that, so he won't have to look at himself quite as often. We're going to throw that up here in a second. Anything else that I may have missed that on the rundown here, Joe?
I don't believe so, Jeremy. Oh, and we are going to also, at the end, oh, one thing we should make, because I asked you about this, Jeremy, this is important. So, managers are one of your 40 picks, right? We want to make it
Yes.
clear. So, if you take Brock Lesnar, you're risking it leaving Paul Heyman on the board, basically, right? Like, you've got to be careful with that. It's the same as tag teams.
Yeah, if you want a manager, you've got to use them. Again, that's a pick for your manager. So you can risk it. You can risk getting Heyman as a backstage interviewer and then using him elsewhere in angles and stuff like that. That's fine. But
Hmm.
someone can just take Paul Heyman as the manager. I mean, there's not a ton of managers in wrestling anyway,
No.
so Paul Heyman's kind of the biggest one. Zelina Vega, but you can use her as a wrestler, so I don't know if that's like a big deal. But you can use anybody as a manager. I might draft Edge and just have him be a manager because why not?
Please do, because I don't have to send him to NXT.
Anyone not drafted will be part of NXT in this universe, and each month you are allowed one call up and send down. I'm going to go over all of this again once we actually start the series, but I'm trying to lay everything out right now. So, anybody not drafted NXT, you get one call up and send down a month. Titles, we are doing each gets a world, tag team, women's, secondary. We're still in the process of discussions if we're going to do sort of gimmick titles where
Mhm.
if you can do a trios, you can do a hardcore, you can do a 24/7, you can do a cruiser. It's up to your own imagination on what kind of title you want to do. We're talking about that. A lot will depend on what our roster kind of looks like. Pay-per-views we're doing the 4 big pay-per-views: Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the one show a year where brand supremacy is on the line, Survivor Series. And then Joe will have 4 pay-per-views, single brand pay-per-views. I will have 4 single brand pay-per-views. I think we're tossing out the every May is Money in the Bank, every October
Yeah.
is Hell in a Cell. We're not doing that. If you want to build to a Hell in a Cell match, just build to a Hell in a Cell match. It doesn't have to be you have to do this match because it's this month.
Yeah, that ain't our thing, right? The gimmick pay-per-view deal is not for us, so that'll be out the window. With a whole lot of other stuff, I think, as we go through this, we'll realise we just totally rebuilt the company. But we'll do it well, and that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, plans will change as we see how I use that line there. That's a very famous line in wrestling, Joe.
It is.
Plans will change as we go through this and actually do our booking and stuff and come to compromises on things. But let's get into the draft, Joe. We didn't
Okay.
decide who has the first pick.
Well, I have a question. This is my key question. Now, Jeremy, you are running the technicalities of this, so I'm going to give you a question, okay? And this you have to answer very simple. Would you prefer the first pick of the current stars or the first pick beyond? That's the question.
Um, I want the first pick of the current because beyond the talent pool is so much more.
Correct answer. Now take your first pick, Jeremy.
I appreciate you giving me that choice though. Thank you.
You've got a lot more on your plate here. I'm just thumbing through these sheets of paper. You've actually got to run this thing and show the people what they're seeing, I guess, right? Go ahead.
All right, we're gonna throw up the big board. It should be on everyone's screens now. As you can see, look at that fancy graphics that we have going on here. Joe's side of the board, my side of the board. We're gonna do 20 picks today, and we're gonna do 20 picks next week, and then we will do our big 5 picks from beyond and our announcers picks and all of that. So it'll either be weekly or maybe a little bit quicker so we can actually get into. We're gonna tape all this in waves anyway, so it'll just get released when it gets released. You're not doing anything better these days. Nobody is, unfortunately.
No. I wish everyone was, but they're not.
No. So there you go. There's the big board, and let me pull up everything here. All right, Joseph. I have the first overall pick for the Raw brand, and I will be taking none other than my guy, the man you can always count on to build around, who does a little bit of everything. If I could find him on the list here, because this is in no actual order. Daniel Bryan, Joseph.
I was certain you were going to say Riddick Moss, but yeah, look, Daniel Bryan's great. I mean, if you want to have a guy in his late 30s with injury problems that's going to retire soon, then that's a great pick.
Joseph, let's be honest. This thing is going to last 3 months, and it's going to be over. But in those 3 months, Daniel Bryan, absolute star. I can put him in there with anybody. He can do promos. He's so diverse, Joe. I can heel, babyface, doesn't matter. I've got my top star in Daniel Bryan. I know what kind of roster I'm trying to build here. And Daniel Bryan is the key essential figure of my roster.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, but I will say, Jeremy, I have 2 candidates for my number 1 pick, and you've taken neither with your number 1 pick.
That's fine.
So I'll now transition. This will tell you a lot about my brand, okay? This is someone that if you'd have told me 3 years ago I'd be taking them first in a draft, I would have asked to see more photos of myself on a Skype call. But that is not the case. They have convinced me they are an ace, they're a centerpiece. I'm taking Becky Lynch.
All right. I thought you were going to say Seth Rollins, but...
Oh, goodness gracious. Get him off the board.
Becky Lynch has been taken. Let me remove her from the big board here.
Your thoughts, Jeremy. Good pick, strong pick.
I feel like you're gonna start building this women's division, and that's what concerns me. But I do have a counter for if you're gonna start going women's division. I'm not gonna reveal that now, but I do have the counter. Yes.
All right, that Joseph. Sounds personal.
My second pick. I'm going star power, Joe.
Yep.
I'm going star power. I'm going great wrestling. I'm going guys who are diverse. I'm going AJ Styles. I'm essentially just building the independence of 2002 in 2020 because that's how WWE works.
I can't say anything here. I mean, last night after we went off the air here on our Distraction post show, Jeremy, I believe I said to you that I think AJ and Daniel Bryan might be the best in-ring performers ever. So I can't really criticise this, can I, thus far? Like, this is... I respect it, I admire it, but I will say, Jeremy, my number 1 and 2 picks are still on the board, so I'll take my second, the big dog, please, Roman Reigns.
All right.
I'm ready for a good time, Jeremy. I'm ready. Now, I know you're a big Roman guy, correct?
I do like
that one must sting a little. Yes.
I do.
Good, I like to. I mean, I like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, so we're both going to lose at this point, right?
All right, Roman Reigns is your number 2 pick.
Yes.
I'm not mad at either pick. Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns. Again, I know the kind of I feel like you're just building like around stars, and there ain't no stars in WWE, Joe. I got a game plan of, look, we're changing product styles here, right? I don't have to go with the sports entertainment product. This is my WWE Raw. If I just want to go with a pure wrestling company, maybe I just gave away too much, but that's what I can do, right?
Yeah, no, you can do what you want, man. I mean, is one of your 4 pay-per-views going to be named Death Before Dishonor, or am I just going too far with that?
It,
You
it
know, is it going
might
to be
be
Final
might be
Battle?
named Final Battle.
There you go.
Yeah. If
I
we
respect
do
it.
if we do the title gimmick, the WWE Pure title, WWE Raw Pure title might need to happen.
Wow. Wow, but then who's going to wrestle for the world title? Anyway, that's another question for another day. Okay, so I have top stars here, male and female. I have things to build around, Jeremy. You got to agree there, okay? Now I'm looking down the sheet, and this is where we hit that point you just mentioned about no stars. It is a little bit of a kick. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to take.
It's my pick.
It's
What are,
very
what are
tough. I'm
you
going to take
doing?
Kevin Owens.
What are you
off the board.
doing? It's my pick. Joseph,
Yes, you
it's
cut out totally. I didn't hear anything you just said.
it's my pick.
Oh, well, you take your pick, and then I'll hope you didn't take Kevin Owens. What did we just talk about in all that time after I took Roman Reigns? The pure title.
We talked yeah, the pure title.
Okay, take your next pick. It's been a long day, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
I could be just a complete dick and take Kevin Owens.
It's fair. Like, I made the tactical error. I was ahead of myself.
You know what? Sticking with the ROH theme, at number 3, Kevin Owens.
Major error on the battlefield there. Okay. Wow, I'm very intrigued here by what you're doing. A lot of male star power. Not seeing the equality though, Jeremy. You know how I feel about that. Okay. Change of tactics clearly is needed here. We are going to take, and this is my pick, Jeremy, correct?
Yes,
I
it's your
will take
pick now.
Drew McIntyre, please, Jeremy.
All right, Drew McIntyre. You sounded very disappointed as you took Drew McIntyre.
I was because Drew is above Kevin on my big ball, but I had an angle already just as I was kind of figuring this out. When you talking about the pure title, I got excited. Carry on.
This is what happens, Joseph. You had a plan, and then I avoided, slipped your counter, and just punched you right in the face.
My plan is in tatters right now, and it's not because of the Kevin Owens bit. I did not think you were going to go the direction you've gone, but I admire it. So, yes.
Number 4,
Okay.
I am going to take Edge at number 4. Little bit of star power there. Another guy who's diverse. Yeah, it's an older roster, but let's be fair. WWE's full roster is older right now. There's not a lot of young guys going on. But I feel like I needed the guy who's gonna give me that boost as far as star power. And everybody loves Edge, unless he's doing 40-minute performance center tours.
Is he going to be joining in these pure title matches where guys are getting dropped on their head and throwing chops every 20 minutes?
I mean, look, this is a roster between Bryan and Edge. I realize the risk I am running here, as one bad move could spell the end of their entire career. But this is what happens if you want to be a WWE superstar on Raw. You gotta. This is cutthroat here, Joseph. We're not putting smiles on faces. We're going out to compete.
Well, clearly, I mean, Kevin Owens, he was just stolen across the battle lines, right? That was as cutthroat as it gets. Okay, so by the way, I love the fact that I lost draft order after 4 picks, four picks, and I was befuddled as to who was going next. Okay, I'm looking at my board here, Jeremy. There's a lot of options, exciting options. I mean, I respect Edge, but I like youth. You know that. I want to build around youth, and I'm going to take Jeremy. I'm taking Rhea Ripley off the board.
All right. I see what you're doing with the women's division. I'm not mad at it. But again, I have a plan for my women's division. I need everybody to trust me on what I'm doing with my women's division, okay? Just need everyone to trust me.
Okay, we trust you, Jeremy. I'll speak for the audience. We trust you.
Number 5, easy pick. With all these great talents and all this injury-prone talent, you need someone who you can count on to be there every single week, not going to hurt anybody. Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
We're going for emotion here, Joe. Brock Lesnar tossing Bryan and Edge and AJ and Kevin Owens. People are going to get invested in that. They're going to be so worried. Again, this is not putting smiles on faces. This is go out there and beat each other and go grab the brass ring. This is the ruthless aggression era.
Oh, that'll be great. I hope you can make a documentary about that in 15 years and talk about when Edge faced Brock Lesnar in a 5-minute squash. That'll be wonderful. Look, Brock's great. Honest to God, I have no idea what you even do with Brock at this point. He's awesome. I don't know what the next chapter is.
That's what I'm here for, Joe. I've got the next plan.
Good point. Very good point. Okay. I think this one's out of left field, Jeremy. I think I might surprise people with this. I'm going with someone we're both very fond of. Big E is off the ball.
Oh, that's a good pick. I like that pick.
It is. Very exciting. I think there's a few ways I can go with Big E, depending on what you do with his friends. We'll see how it goes.
I like that pick. I'm a fan of that one. All right. I feel like you got high hopes for Big E because you're taking him 5th. That's a top 5 pick right there. You can't just be taking him 5th and then throwing him back in the New Day. I think that's a misstep.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, Jeremy, but yes, there are very high hopes for Big E.
All right.
I can confirm that much. I can.
All right. Number 6 for me. I've gotta take a female competitor at this point. It just has to happen. And I'm going to take a person you can build around, just like Daniel Bryan, a diverse performer, face or heel, doesn't matter, great matches, doesn't matter. Alexa Bliss.
No comment.
This was not a shot at you, Joe. I promise you. You know I'm very high on Alexa Bliss as well. I think she is misused in WWE. And look, you've got 2 female talents. I've got to start taking a few. Yes. And Alexa is someone you can build around.
Look, here's the deal. Okay, most people in the wrestling media, if they did this to me at this stage, would be taking a personal shot. But I know that you know the truth. I know you'll do good by this pick, so I respect it. It does hurt, though. You know, I must say it does hurt. But I was ready. I knew this would come. This day would come eventually, right? I knew it would happen.
It's also possible that at the end of the draft, when we negotiate trades, I use her as to steal a little bit more from you. Because I know, like, I'm just letting you know, in case you really, really want her, it's going to cost a lot.
I'm open to all offers. Okay? Right. Okay, that one stings, but I'm ready, and I was prepared. I knew it was coming. Okay, I'm not a fool. I knew this was happening. So we're going to pivot to another female pick. We are going to go to Bianca Belair.
All right. I knew the Bianca Belair pick was coming at some point.
You know how high I am on Bianca Belair, yes. Right? It was inevitable. It'd be interesting, everyone that listens to our actual podcast, all those lunatics, I wonder how well they could have figured out who we were going to take here. Because I speak to you every week, and I had no idea who you were going to go with.
I think people who listen to our podcast, like, probably don't know our actual taste in wrestlers who we like a lot, because it is so much like jokey, and we're just like, yeah, this is all just bad stuff, especially nowadays. Like, it's just this isn't great stuff that's happening right now. And we haven't given our thoughts on a lot of it because we don't break down matches and go segment by segment type of stuff. We did for WrestleMania, but that was WrestleMania. But otherwise, we're not breaking down like these Fiend segments and stuff every week. So people probably don't know our thoughts on a lot of these guys if they just listen to the podcast, which you can listen to every Thursday at 7 p.m. on Fightful. That's when we talk wrestling. Every Tuesday afternoon, we review wrestling related or starring movies and television shows. All right,
it's amazing. Every time I hear you say that, I can't believe that's a real thing we do. But yes, that is actually what we do on the podcast. It's not a bit. We actually do that now. Yes, continue.
All right, Joseph. Number 7. I am going with Andrade at number 7. And he is not going to get buried like they are doing to him on Raw right now.
Andrade is wonderful. I hope you make the most of him. He was
Joseph, do you
very
see
high on
this
my draft
roster?
pool.
Do you see this roster?
Um, I do, yes.
This is real sports right here. We're gonna have power rankings. This is I've got the game plan. It's all figured out. I just now figured it out, but it's all figured out.
I love the real sports and Alexa Bliss is just squeezed in there in the middle. That's great. I'm with it. Like, I get it. I'm with it. Um, okay. We have three top females. We have three top males. Here's the thing. I love the fresh faces still, but I do have to have some kind of star power here, right? You
Cain
can't just
Velasquez,
kind of.
that's who you're taking.
I can confirm that is not who I'm taking, Jeremy. I will take my friend and yours, Jeremy, Randall Orton.
Randy Orton. All right.
But we're changing his name to Randall.
Messing with the brand. I very much look forward to these great promo segments and these like 40 matches.
Yeah, the thing is, the game won't know. The game will rate him very highly because he probably has like
true. That is
extremely good in every area. He's like the perfect TEW player if you really think about it, right? He's like the most incredible stat wrestler ever. It just never translates to actual matches. Okay.
Oh, I just saw Cassius Ohno's name on here. That was the name. I'll take him off. All right, number 8 for me. We're going back to the women's division here, and we are going to take. See, I feel like you tried to trick me on, and you probably didn't try to trick me, but I feel like you were trying to get into my head in the pre-show meeting where we were talking about the database we were going to use, and you were like, this person has like 50 psychology, and I might have to file a request to get this person's psychology edited because she's much better than that. She is the only star in the women's division. I don't care what Becky Lynch truly thinks. I'm taking Charlotte Flair at number 8.
Okay, I'm going to say this now because I actually think it's for the sake of fairness. Like, I am going to look through the stats because we're going to pick guys from the past and they are inevitably going to be rated much better than the modern guys, right? Because they're so overexposed, unfortunately. So I will look through them. And if Charlotte's psychology is indeed 50, I will bump it up to 52. Okay, Jeremy? Is that good? No, look, great pick. I think you're a little bit harsh on Becky. But, I mean, I'm with you. Charlotte's great. You know, there's nothing to do with her outside of win like 25 more titles. But other than that, it's great.
Have you seen the NXT ratings with Charlotte? They're winning every week except for this week.
I've barely seen NXT, let alone the ratings of NXT. Okay, so I'm looking at this fresh talent. Okay, and I'm looking at it. I'm going to go with a guy I think everyone's high on him but me, but this is a draft and it's competitive. Keith Lee. I'm excited. I want Keith Lee, Jeremy. He's an interesting one. He's one of the only NXT guys I feel like I can fling in with the top guys and like kind of get away with it, I think. So he's the guy I'm taking as we build this fresh image for SmackDown, right? Ready for a good time.
Let me tell you about Keith Lee and TEW.
Oh,
because when I was playing TEW 2020, I used the same mod I believe we're going to be using in 2016 and converted it. So granted, the conversion, it's not a perfect thing. Keith Lee don't work. I tried to run an angle with him and Adam Cole. Adam Cole was refusing to put him over. Finn Balor was refusing to put him over. The fans were telling me they didn't want to see Keith Lee. It was not good, Joseph. Not good.
I think, in all seriousness, outside of the stats, one of the things we probably have to look at most is like the overness on that game. Because I think the NXT guys are like insanely low. And in the truth, as much as they're not as famous as the main roster people, there's not that big of a gulf at this point, right? Like the audience will react to him like he's a like upper mid-card guy initially. It's not going to be like he's coming in at job level. So I'll have to look at that, but I will take it on board and wish it was put in my scouting report by my esteemed front office.
Yeah, you need to your scouting division, you need to have a talk with them because they missed the boat on Keith Lee. They did not review the actual game. See, you did the combine stuff and the interviews and all that. Just look at the footage, Joe. That's all you have to do. Just look at the footage.
Yeah, or apparently do an hour of an XT playthrough, and then you'll know much better. But I'm with you. I get it. I get it.
At number 9, I am going to take. We gotta get back on track here with the peer title stuff. All right, we've got our two cornerstones of the women's division. We can run Charlotte and Alexa for the entire 3 months that this is gonna last and feel comfortable with everything. So we're gonna get back on track. We're gonna stick with our theme of hard hitting old guys and go with
Yep.
the always underrated Cesaro at number 9.
Wow, I was just crossing out the name I thought you was talking about. Cesaro, hi. I'm happy for Cesaro. Very happy for
I
him.
got big plans for
Tremendous talent.
Cesaro.
Good. I'm glad someone does. Okay, I'm going to take the guy that I was certain you was describing. I'm taking Samoa Joe.
That's see. Once you said you were crossing this person out, I knew you were going with Samoa Joe at number 9.
Can't
That's
argue with
fine.
Samoa Joe. I mean, he's going to
No,
get
no, no.
injured a lot, but such is life, you know?
We love Samoa Joe. I've already got Bryan and Styles, and I don't feel an Edge, and I'm not sure I need another injury prone guy. I don't know if Styles is really injury prone, but between
No,
Bryan and Edge, I don't need another injury prone guy.
this is fair. I understand this much, but
We should mention that injuries are they're off to start. They will be actually on once we start the game, but everybody is healthy going into this universe.
yes, and there is a thing I was looking at. There is like a stat in the game for like how often a guy gets injured. So I assume like a Samoa Joe, Edge, Daniel Bryan, whatever, they're going to be hitting that department, I would guess, right? So
Yeah.
it does matter, and there is like a body decline on it. But to start with, everyone's with a clean slate. Okay, whose pick are we on here, Jeremy? Your pick?
I should say yours just so you tip your hand again, but yes, it is my pick.
Fool me once, Jeremy. Fool me once, right?
All right, at number 10,
Lots of thinking going on here. I
the,
like it.
there is. I've got to stay true
Wow.
to my roster and stay true to myself as well. And I'm going to go with a guy who I think the game is going to rate very well based on the past year he's had. And a guy I like and a guy who can get that emotion, can have those great matches as well, can build something. I'm going with Kofi Kingston at number 10.
Okay. I was glad you got there in the end. I wondered who he was going to pick. I was looking at my sheet, like, who is he describing here? Like, yeah, Kofi's great.
I basically just
Kofi
said a
is
bunch of words as I try to make my pick.
Yeah, it happens, right? Okay. This is our 10th pick, I'm correct in saying, correct?
Yes.
My 10th pick, you just took yours, right?
Yes.
Well, your roster is stacked with good in-ring guys. Mine is, I don't
And
know if it's
women.
really filled with Yeah, well, that's debatable. But anyway, I'm going to take very exciting guy. Big fan of this guy, as you know, Jeremy.
John
I've
Morrison.
shed many tears. No, definitely not. I'm taking Ricochet off the board.
Oh, all right. I gotta respect that pick. That is a pick that would fit in perfectly with my roster. The problem is there's like 300 different ricochets in this game.
Oh, God. I think Ricochet is great. I don't know what happened, why no one else thinks that now. But to me, he's still pretty great.
He is great. I don't know how he
He
translates.
is.
Good luck with those promo segments with him.
Yeah, that may be tough. May have to take a manager that's still on the board, huh, Jeremy? May have to take one of them.
There you
May
go.
have to.
There you go. All right, at number 11, I am going to take. Look, this is real sports. In real sports, you need shooters. This is a guy who we said could potentially win the real life brawl for all. The best pure striker in the game today, since the Undertaker is not fully active. Aleister Black at number 11.
Great pick. Aleister Black is a guy that I think can be an actual top guy. And looking at your roster, he may have to be before all the old fellows disintegrate. So, I think he's going to be a project for you, right? I can see Aleister Black moving up that roster pretty quick. I'm going to take someone he had a lot of good matches with, Jeremy. I'm going to take Buddy Murphy off the board.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Apollo Crews.
No, I can confirm I will not be saying Apollo Crews for the foreseeable future. We may get there in the end, though.
Buddy Murphy's a good pick, strong pick.
I agree. That's why I picked it, right?
Yeah. Number 12. There's so much talent on this roster.
There really is.
It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts how much talent there is on this roster. Number 12, Joseph. I am going with another guy to stick with the real sports kind of theme here, about competitiveness, about drive. A guy who that has been misused his entire time on the main roster. Finn Balor at number 12.
Yeah, I'm with that pick. I don't know if that's going to make some people be a bit confused or surprised, but he's on my pretty high on my board. Finn Balor is really good. I think I took him for granted when he was up on the main roster. Because he would be useful to both brands now, right?
The problem he would be I think I was watching a lot of the old Bullet Club stuff recently, and so you really do forget just how good of he's a fine heel in NXT. This guy was such a good heel in New Japan.
Yeah, there's not enough, the camaraderie he got from the guys he was with. They don't lean on that enough in WWE, right? Because everything's so written and, produced, you lose that personality that came out of him just by being surrounded by guys he was comfortable with. It's a game changer. It's a good pick. Definitely a good pick. I'm liking Seth Rollins' chances of being the top guy in NXT, so good for him.
I keep looking at Seth Rollins and just he's like Aaron Rodgers or Brady Quinn when they just sweat. I know you don't watch NFL, but I don't think you do.
No.
But the NFL draft is very mean, where on these guys who are supposed to go in the top 10 or whatever, and they don't go, they've got them there just sitting in the green room, just looking just so disappointed and disgruntled that they're still around and they haven't been picked and these things. I imagine that's what Seth Rollins is like right now.
Yeah, but I would have warned him. I'd have just said, look, man, it's going to take a lot for me to take you off this board, okay? I'm taking one of my favourite guys. Now, this is a little bit of star power, a little bit of veteran, a lot of things here, because he's still a good match guy too. I'm taking Rey Mysterio off the board.
All right.
Big Rey guy, Jeremy. I don't know about you, but I'm a big Rey guy.
I was featured as a talking head in a Rey Mysterio documentary.
Now, that's 2 days straight that you have just given me a story that I find fascinating, but you seem to just be nonchalant about it. I respect that. It's kind of, you've dropped a name there, but I respect it. How much time did you get on this talking head spot? Did you on it a lot or just a little?
I don't know, actually. It was done by High Spots. I didn't get a copy of it. I should ask for hey, can I get a copy of this DVD? But yeah, I talked about Rey for a good 15-20 minutes or so for this documentary. I would imagine I was in it at some point.
I mean, you want a copy, you should be asking for royalties, because I might have to go and buy the thing now. Yeah, Rey's great, and it amazes me that he's still one of the good match guys on Raw, right? He's just tremendous.
He is very good. At number 13, I've gotta go with this guy for a number of reasons. One, real sports theme, as I've been pushing here, the peer theme. Two, I think I can get a lot out of his. Oh, you know what I just forgot on this roster here, and maybe you have these people on your roster. I think it's only going to come down to 3 people that we might take that aren't on the big board. Do you know what I'm going to say?
NXT UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't forget them. To me, they're their own sector. I know that sounds dismissive, but that's just what they are to me.
Right. I mean, again,
you can take someone if you want. It's not a big deal, but to me, it's might as well just ignore.
Yeah, I mean, if there's someone that It's only going to be 3 people. I think Pete Dunne should be on the actual NXT roster, and I don't think he is. Otherwise, there's Walter and Tyler Bate, and if you're taking anybody else from NXT UK, I don't know. That seems weird.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Yeah.
Back to my original point and my original pick here. Get a lot of skits out of this guy. I need somebody good for locker room morale as well, and I got a big match in mind for him. Number 13, Matt Riddle.
You know, it's funny. I'm not a huge Riddle guy. He fell a lot on my draft board, but he is tremendous. I love the stuff with Timothy Thatcher that's just begun. I think it could be very, very good. And you're right. You can get good TV out of him, definitely.
And again, locker room morale. Matt Riddle is going to keep everybody chilled.
My next pick will be in the same line of people that I'm not a huge fan of, Jeremy. The Legit Boss.
Oh, wow.
Welcome. The blueprint is coming back to the blue brand. She's already on the blue brand. She's staying on the blue brand, Jeremy. Yeah. Is that a surprise to you, or are you kind of aware that I'll do anything?
No, you're not a big Sasha Banks person. So, yeah, a little bit of a surprise there.
But I know that she's very, very good. I just, I try to avoid kind of the cult-like behavior. I'm aware she's very good. That's why she's on the roster here.
All right.
Okay.
That is fine. You did not take my women's pick at 14 because I need another women's pick here, and I'm going with Asuka.
Yeah, Asuka is amazing. Now, I will say,
the game probably underrates her very much.
Yes, I think these promo segments will be a real struggle on TEW, to be honest, but we may need to figure out a workaround where the game thinks she's speaking English just for the sake of how awesome the segments are, if that makes any sense. Because the game will be like, hang on, language barrier. And we're going to be like, yes, that's the point. It's awesome. Yeah. So we might have to figure that out. But look, she's great. She's absolutely awesome. And the fact that, after we was all ready to kind of write this run off, and we still can, she's producing a lot of entertaining TV if nothing else, right? And that's what you can do. I'm going to take, in my view at least, Jeremy, her best dance partner off the board, Ember Moon.
All right. That was someone who, after you took Sasha Banks, I had 2 women in mind. One was Asuka, the second was Ember Moon, and I valued Asuka over Ember Moon.
That's correct, because she's a more known commodity. The character is more over. They're both great in the ring, so yeah, I can't argue with that. I cannot.
At number 15.
Yes. It's trying times now, Jeremy, isn't it?
There's still so much good talent on the board. That's the thing. It's not even a thing of, all right, which talented person do I want? It's a matter of, now you're just trying to draft for value and think of, all right, how much value do you place on this person? Can I get that person later? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and the problem is there's a lot of guys that we both like that we feel can do the same kind of role. So it makes it like you're looking for steals almost, right? Like you're looking for people that can be different. That's why I think Riddle probably was a good one.
Exactly. At number 15, I'm going to go, we talked about this guy yesterday off air. I'm going to make him a star again. Shinsuke Nakamura at number 15.
Now there's a guy who can be something totally different, right? He can bring something wildly different to the roster. It's just a matter of how TEW has decided to rate him in the 3 years he spent in WWE, right? Yeah, Shinsuke's great. I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm at with Shinsuke at this point. It's a strange time. Okay, I'm changing gears here. And this is going to be a real test of you, Jeremy, and what kind of person you are. The people are going to find out a lot right now. I'm taking Jimmy Uso, Jeremy.
All right.
I'm taking Jimmy Uso.
All right.
And I'll comment no further right now. Jimmy Uso, known single star Jimmy Uso, Total Diva star.
I'm not going to be a complete jerk about things. I am going to, at number 16, take Io Shirai.
Great pick. Your women's division is interesting. You know, it's very interesting. There's some different things going on here,
Look,
just in the core of it.
I've got the best 4 peer wrestlers in the women's division.
True. Alexa Bliss is a shooter.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
are you gonna have when she started pinning people with like that forearm punch thing? Are you gonna just make that a full-time finish and just run with it?
She's
You could
gonna
do the brawl
be.
for all deal.
I'm gonna advance it, and she's not only gonna use the forearm, she's gonna add the spinning back elbow to her arsenal as well. Alexa is just gonna be a full on MMA shooter in this world.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Jeremy, and I know we're going slow enough about me delaying things, but I think there's some people watching this that think we're doing like a bit. But when you actually look at who you've got, it shows how useful Alexa is because she can be like underdog babyface or like the most evil person in the world heel, right? That's very useful to have as the first building block. So I respect it. I like what you're doing there. I now have to figure out which of the remaining top
You're
guys.
talking yourself into a trade for Alexa, and
True.
I'm going to get you like the Paul George trade. I'm going to take a current star, I'm going to take a future star, and I'm going to take 1,300 future draft picks as well.
Current star is a joke in itself. Jey Uso, I'm not going to play with fate. I knew you'd be respectful on this matter, but if I'd have left them really late, I'd have been being a bit rude there, right? Like I'd be kind of daring you almost. So I'm going to take them early enough that they're one of the greatest teams I've seen, and they are my first tag team officially anyway.
I'm all for
Love
that.
the Usos. Yep.
That's great. Xavier Woods at 17.
Great pick.
I'm very
Xavier
happy.
Woods can do a lot of things, right? He can do a lot.
I'm very happy you did not take Xavier Woods. I didn't know how early I wanted to take him because I love Xavier Woods, and like you said, he's a guy who can do just I'm gonna send him on all these video game shows and things like that. Get the Raw brand out there, have him bury SmackDown. Isn't that a thing you can do, like dirty tactics or whatever? I feel like that's.
I think you can do it with other promotions. I don't know if you can do it cross-brand.
Oh.
Hopefully you can.
Oh, you can do it. You can do it in the SmackDown vs. Raw general manager
Yes.
mode. Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Which I can definitely confirm we are not playing ever.
No.
Ask.
So I'm gonna send Xavier out there to just bury all of your guys on. He's gonna go on Clueless Gamer with Conan O'Brien. He's just gonna talk a bunch of trash about SmackDown.
Well, that'll go well. I'm looking at the remaining top guys, and I'm currently sort of internally ranking the ones I like most and the ones I like least. I am unsure what I'm going to do there, so I'm going to leave that totally on the board. There's 2 women I'm looking at, Jeremy. 2 very, very talented women. I'm looking at balance now. What do I need more of here? For that reason, I'll take Ruby Riott with my next pick.
All right.
Wow, massive reaction for Ruby Riott.
I just got a very important text message. I apologize. The front office.
Okay.
The front office was texting me an update on a certain superstar, and I gotta listen when the front office is ringing.
I mean, there's going to be a Woj bomb at some point about this Alexa trade, right?
100%. There is going to be a Woj bomb on the Alexa trade. At number 18, I am going to take. I've got people in mind. Again, it's value on where do I think you think these people are going to be. That's how I think, Joe. I'm not drafting for best available right now. I'm not even drafting for need because look at this roster. I don't need anybody. This roster is going to succeed regardless.
Very confident, Jeremy. You're very, very confident.
At number 18, I'm going to take my man. He's not going to be Shorty G. He's going to be Chad Gable. And we're bringing, like, this is pure wrestling. You got to have a guy like Chad Gable. Underrated as far as entertainment. I'm sure the game gives him a 0 in the entertainment factor. Hopefully his wrestling factor is good enough.
He is so good. It's actually a little bit embarrassing how good he is. And I mean that sincerely. Like, watching him take that King of the Ring deal and make as much of it as he did is just like, a peak credit to him. I mean, they've really capitalized on it too, but that's another topic, right?
He's short,
No,
Joe.
yeah, he is. That's what I hear. He's awesome. I love Chad Gable, but he isn't quite as good in the ring. If we're talking about pure in ring here, Jeremy, he's great, elite even. He ain't Roddy Strong though, and Roddy Strong is the
Oh,
next pick for SmackDown.
that's a good pick.
There are a
Big
few
fan.
wrestlers on Earth I enjoy as much as Roddy Strong.
Big
Truly awesome, just backbreakers all around, right?
big fan of Roderick Strong. I like that
Yes,
pick. At number
he's tremendous.
19, going with a diverse performer who's only going to play a baby face because he's actually not that very good of a heel. Johnny Gargano at number 19.
How tough are those two guys to rank on your big board, huh? Great talents, but they're just very difficult, I think.
Who,
Hmm.
Gargano and
And Champa, yeah.
Ciampa? Yeah. I prefer Gargano. I I think as a pure underdog babyface, there are
Yeah.
few as good as Johnny Gargano. This heel stuff does absolutely nothing for me. But as just a pure underdog, look, I got Brock Lesnar talking or tossing guys around. He's gonna toss around Gargano. He's gonna get the sympathy, all the sympathy he needs. That's what this whole roster is. Brock Lesnar on top, just tossing fools, and a bunch of underdog baby faces.
I mean, that's fine. That works. That's probably his best type of match, right? So I'm with it. I'm going to take, with my next pick, Jeremy, I'm going to take Cole O'Reilly off the board.
Oh, good pick. He was high on my board. I didn't know when I should take him, but I left it up to chance a little bit, and that's a strong pick.
Roddy and O'Reilly is like an elite team, correct? Do we agree on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Bobby Fish, I love you, but you're gonna have to have to miss out, I think, on this one.
Number 20, I am going with Ali, and that is my final pick of the first half of the draft.
I think both of us are gonna get all heat for having him that low. I mean, I
Probably.
don't know your reasoning for it, but he's great, right? We both agree. I just think there's different reasons, perhaps. There's just guys we prefer. I took Ricochet over him. I don't know why I like Ricochet more than him. I probably shouldn't. He's not as good a promo. But we can't choose who we like, right, Jeremy? We just can't.
Once you
Uh,
took Ricochet at 10, I kind of didn't have the urgency to take Ali because I didn't think you were going to take both guys. So
yeah.
I just kind of let Ali sit for a while, but at 20 there's a lot of value there, and so I didn't there was nobody else jumping out at me that like, all right, I really want this guy at number 20.
This is a fascinating time because I'm going to be honest. I'm just saying now. There's like three top guys left that I'm just not picking. And I don't know if you've got the same decision. Um, I've decided that as far as star power, I'm just going to supplement it through the old fellows that we pick later. So that's my announcement now. I don't think you're going to see any more top guys on my board. But however, there are a lot of good wrestlers, and I'm just slowly building out this mid card. And next, I will take Drew Gulak.
All
Great
right.
wrestler. Love Drew Gulak.
I'm a fan of Drew Gulak. That's a good pick.
I agree, Jeremy. It's a very good pick.
I already had Gable. I've got enough
Yeah.
kind of technical wrestling kind of guys. So
I mean, the difference is your top guys can do that too, whereas mine can't, right? That's kind of probably why I needed him more than you.
all right, everybody, that is going to wrap up the first half of the draft. We will be back shortly, maybe next week, with the second half of the draft as we fill out our 40-person roster. You know what I'm looking at, Joe? There's still so many names on the board that 40 people feels very light, but at the same time, you don't just want to like overcrowd your roster with a bunch of people.
What if we do like I'm not sure how we could. I guess with our five extra, what if that puts us to 50 and we take 45, Jeremy? What if we do that?
Okay.
You know, so
That's
then it's like a balanced out, finish with 50. That works, right?
Well, it might not be an even 50 depending on how many tag teams are taken
True.
in the five.
True, that helps not at all, actually, does it? Anyway, never mind.
I think we keep it as is, as 40, and then you get the extra 5. Your full limit is 50. So after this draft is over, if you know the people that are in NXT, you can't there's no more picks from beyond after your 5.
Yeah.
But after this is over, you can have up to 50 people. So you can take people that weren't drafted from NXT, and as a little work roster limitation here, if you take too many tag teams and the picks beyond, you got to cut some people. You got to send them to NXT.
Oh, that's big time. I
So
like
so
that.
your
On the
limit is
fly
50.
booking there, Jeremy.
What was
On the
that?
fly. On the fly booking there, Jeremy. I
That's
respect it. I like it.
That's right. So your limit is a 50-person roster. We're only going to draft 40 plus the 5 picks from beyond, which could come out to be 46, 47 people. And then if you do see people that weren't drafted and you got a couple of slots available to fill out your roster, you can take them in essentially the supplemental draft. And there's trades,
Great
Joe. You know what
planning.
I mean? Like
Oh,
we
yes.
could
There
I'm
sure
trading
is.
again, this Alexa Bliss trade, I plan on getting multiple people back for her. So,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what you're looking for, and we'll decide that later.
all right. All right, everybody. That is going to wrap up the first half of the draft. We will be back to do the second half, the final 20 picks on each side. Come back and join us. We will talk to you then.